We want to return now to our report from Brittany Harry. Tonight, she talked to a Huntsville woman who says her life has been flipped upside down by the deadly grip of fentanyl. Alabama Representative Matt Simpson is now pushing for mandatory prison time for drug dealers who are trafficking fentanyl. And Brittany, Jackie Bragg says it's about time lawmakers do more to crack down on them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jackie Bragg lost her father to an overdose in June of this year, and just 1 year prior, she also lost her cousin, who she considered a best friend, from an overdose too. Bragg shared with me tonight what it was like watching her dad suffer from an addiction that ultimately took his life.
It was that one phone call or one last interaction to get whatever, dose he had gotten. That was just too much.
Jackie Bragg says her dad, Mitchell Ashley, struggled with a drug addiction for many years. On June 20th, Bragg says Hempsey rushed her father to Huntsville Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A day Jackie Bragg says she feared could happen.
He actually had Narcan at his house at that time, but what he had wasn't enough.
Bragg says Hempsey was called to her father's home on multiple occasions when he overdosed, including the night he died. She says her father also went to rehab a few times too, hoping to overcome his addiction. Bragg says she could always tell when he had been and when he relapsed.
He would be the same sweet, genuine, loving man that we all knew, and the dad that I always knew growing up, and I think that's how I would always know when he was starting to get off track.
The hardest part, Bragg says, was watching her father struggle.
I worked with him to get him to the place that he was, and then just watching him relapse was, I don't know how to describe it, but it was really hard.
Fentanyl is a drug plaguing many communities across North Alabama right now. Bragg says stiffer penalties are what's needed.
And I think that it should be a much more of a charge than it is now. Like, I don't agree with, they basically get a slap on the wrist, they get bonded out, and then they're back at it.
Bragg says if you suspect someone you know is struggling with an addiction, or if you know they are, do everything you can to get them help as soon as possible. Representative Matt Simpson says his proposed fentanyl trafficking bill will be introduced in the next legislative session. Currently, there is no mandatory minimum prison sentence for trafficking fentanyl. Reporting live in studio, Brittany Harry, Way 31 News.